Hey viewers and viewresses, my name is General Red Strategist and welcome back to Syria Being Hunted, episode 598, isn't it? Yes, it is. We're approaching episode 600, of course, ladies and gentlemen. As always, I am still open for questions for the Q&A. Had quite a few of them come in so far already, so hopefully it's going to be a nice, big, jolly little video with myself, Phil, and hopefully Connor as well, which, you know, is very much the intention. Get 3 of us in on the Q&A, that'll be awesome. So like I say, yeah, people are already leaving questions, it's going really well. Managed to collect quite a few of them so far. So, it's going to be... Oops, I didn't even pick that up, what am I doing? Yeah, it's going to be an interesting Q&A, hopefully. So, like I say, in the meantime, please do, if you want to engage with that, keep your questions incoming, and I'll try and make a note of them and all that. I will eventually probably put a announcement out on the community tab when, well, once basically me and Phil and Connor have locked in a date to actually record episode 600, I'll probably post an announcement to say, you know, when I'm not accepting any more questions and all that. Because yeah, we got more than enough for an episode actually at the moment, but might as well invite any more, any sort of final last minuters or anything like that, in case anyone wants to put any in and whatever else have you. But in the meantime, with that aside, of course, we're back here in the world of Syria Being Hunted, new map. Just going to have another podcast style episode today because, well, it's a Sunday, it's a weekend as I'm going to record this, and I do actually need to record a fair number of videos. I've already recorded a bit of RTCW, planning also to record some Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb, a bit more of that, since that's the new Let's Play on the channel to replace Return, since I've just finished Return 2 Runaway fairly recently. So that's good fun, because I've been saying actually that I'm going to play the Indiana Jones games for quite some time, or, you know, play at least one of them, namely the Emperor's Tomb. But I've just never quite actually got around to it. But, you know, I say that about a lot of the games, actually, that I have in my Steam library and all that. And I'm not going to waffle on too much about that, because, you know, it's something that I've talked about before. No point in really sort of retreading all ground in that regard. Actually, what I did kind of want to talk about in this episode, because it's kind of on my brain at the moment, is Lego, ladies and gentlemen. I've talked about Lego before, of course. I think you know, me and Phil, for example, talked about like Lego video games that we played back when we were kids. I've probably talked also about like Lego sets that I had in my youth. But the thing is, you know, as a young man in my early 30s with a full-time job and some disposable income and all that, and you know, several months back, I discovered that there was a Smith's Toys superstore near me, not too far away, on one of the retail parks and all that. And they have a whole Lego section, they do. And it's very interesting sometimes to wander in there and have a look at the sheer amount of Lego sets that they do have. It just reminds me of back in the olden days when I was a kid, and I would go down to my nearest Toys R Us and I'd go into the Lego section that they had there, and I would basically look around. You know, and this was back during the 90s. And I always remember like some of the really crazy, awesome Lego sets that I never got to play with as a kid, because of course they would have been too expensive. And I was a kid, of course, you know, this was long before I ever had a job and an income. But you know, they always had like the pirate sets with all the different ships. They always had like the castle sets, you know, the big like medieval ones with the castles and fortresses. There was always like the Lego Ninjas, because that was obviously like the 1990s, not Ninjago, ladies and gentlemen. That was a much later theme in Lego. No, the original Lego Ninjas, with sort of like Japanesey style castles. And then of course like, they had the space theme. Of course, you know, in sort of like the mid to late 90s, you had some really wacky, crazy, cool sort of space themes like UFO and Insectoids, Explorians, ones like that. And of course, you had like the early Adventurers series, you know, Egypt, the Amazon Adventure, and of course you had ones like Aquazone and Rock Raiders and stuff like that, and they were always, you know, pretty awesome. But you know, going into the Lego section in the likes of Smith's Toys Superstores now, as you can imagine, they have a lot of obviously the branded Lego themes these days, like Star Wars, Harry Potter, Indiana Jones, Sonic the Hedgehog. Now that's like one of the latest friggin' Lego themes that is available, as well as things like Lego Minecraft, Lego Mario, etc, etc. And you know, not that they're bad, but I've said this before, how I always kind of preferred Lego's original themes, where it was their own sort of ideas, things like that. You know, particularly that stuff, for example, back in the sort of 90s, very early 2000s. And that's not to say that Lego doesn't do original stuff anymore. They do. Obviously, you've got like all the Lego Creator, Lego City, all that kind of stuff. And you know, quite a few months ago, back when I was still living in rented accommodation, I actually bought a Lego set, which was one of the Lego Creator ones. It was the sort of like noodle shop one. I might actually see if I can add some pictures from here as I talk. So, has anyone seen like the Lego noodle shop / noodle bar set from Lego Creator? Basically, I bought that one quite a few months back and made that. And, you know, I'd sort of rediscovered my old childhood love of Lego. And it's got me basically into the mindset of thinking, oh, I want to buy more Lego sets and, you know, play with them. Well, not play with them, but, you know, build them, essentially. You know, you're never too old for Lego, ladies and gentlemen. I may be, like I say, a young man in my 30s, but I still love me Lego and all that. I'm not frigging giving that up and all. But recently, a couple of days ago, I was back in Smith's Toy Superstores again, and I was actually decided to buy a couple more Lego sets. Not big ones, just sort of medium to small size ones. So I got a couple of them for about 46 quid, and I've built one of them already. So I got one that was, they're both Lego City ones. One of them, which is the one I just built actually this morning, as I'm going to record this, was basically like a sort of, it's basically like a van, but it's like a van that sells slush drinks. So it's kind of like blue. It's got like a sort of a lot of stickers that you put on it, where it has like a sort of penguin brand kind of design to it. It's a cute little thing, but it's just really, really fun and really nice to look at. So I've done that one. That one basically comes with a couple of minifigs, like the guy who sort of stands in the van selling the goods, and then there's like a little sort of a kid who sort of comes with the set. Bloody hell, this fucking... Alright, fine, I'll just take this. That's why the hell not. Let's get out of here. Ouch. But no, the other Lego set that I actually bought, which I have yet to build, is another sort of small to medium-sized one. It's the... I forget the number of it, but it's basically like an ice cream shop, ice cream store. And of course, like any Lego set, like obviously the noodle bar that I've already got, and the slush van that I have just created this morning, it basically the way it works is you can it has like hinges on it, so you can open it up, which is really, really awesome. So you can actually put minifigures inside it, things like that. So I'm looking forward to building that as well. I don't know when I'll actually get around to building it, because obviously with it being Sunday at the moment, I don't know if I'll necessarily be able to build it today. I might build it next weekend, something like that. But yeah, I know obviously Lego sets are always very, very fucking expensive, but you know, you maybe, you know, save up a bit of money and all that. You could always potentially buy a few. Now, obviously there are some sort of creator Lego sets that I definitely would love to be able to buy and actually build and, you know, build them, because there's like some sort of creator sort of city themed ones which look absolutely awesome. I think have I mentioned the Lego Creator the bookshop one before? Have I ever mentioned that before in my So Being Hunted series? I don't know. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. But that's a set that I would absolutely love. It's actually one of the larger ones. But of course, it being a larger one, as you can imagine, it is bloody expensive. It's like 169 quid or something. So maybe one day I'll buy it, but I'll have to save up a bit of money for it. But that one just looks really awesome, because it's basically like a sort of street scene where it has kind of like the bookshop, and then there's like a house adjoining next to it. So that's definitely one that I want to buy. Not just because of the fact that I'm obviously a bit of a bookworm, and you know, I love bookshops and bookstores and things like that. Another set actually that I did see in Smith's Toy Superstores, which I would love to get. I forget what the name of it is, but basically it's a big ship. It's not a pirate ship. It's like a modern ship. It's like an ocean explorer's ship, I think. It has like a helicopter and all kinds of stuff. It looks really awesome. But again, it's a really fucking expensive one. Costs something like, it's got to be at least 100 quid, something like that. But good lordy. Thing is, there's a lot of stuff I want to buy. I've talked, for example, before in RTCW about how I want to get myself a Nintendo Switch as well. Sorry, that's not obviously Lego related, but so many things I want to get, and they all cost an absolute friggin' load of money. But yeah, so the Ocean Explorer ship, I want to get that one. That's another Lego City set. But there's all kinds of them. You know, you go into Smith's Toy Superstore and you look at the Lego City theme, there's fucking loads of stuff. There's all like the police station, things like that. I'm less sort of interested in things like the police and fire station hospital sets. More sort of interested in things like the shops and like the bookstore, like I say, stuff like that. And just like the general urban scenes. Because I know Lego Creator has quite a few kind of like urban scenes. Because the thing is, like Lego City, the Lego City theme urban sets, I feel like they always have kind of like a certain colour palette where they're very sort of blue and white, mostly. Well, I say that, but actually now that I think about it, I can think of a few sets on there that aren't really those sorts of colours. But quite a few of them are. But then like the Lego Creator ones, a lot of their buildings in that one have kind of like a Parisian sort of aesthetic in terms of the general sort of architectural design of the buildings. So yeah, I want to get the bookstore, and I know that obviously with Lego Creator you also get things like Assembly Square, as well as other like types of shops and stores within that kind of creator theme. The creator theme ones usually are just bigger than the general Lego City sets, and they have like very specific well, they're very specific in what terms of what they're meant to be, like a bookshop, a city street, a main square, things like this. But they look really, really good, and I'd love to get my hands on some of them. Oh yes. So yeah, I'm looking forward to when I get to build my little ice cream shop next weekend or whatever, or maybe during the week. Who knows? Maybe on a evening or something. If I've not got really any recordings that need to be done or any work that needs doing, maybe I've got a free evening, maybe I could just sit down and knock one out. It'd be very, very good. I think also the gimmick with the Lego, sorry, I'm just going back to the Lego Creator sets. I think part of the gimmick with those ones as well is that usually they're like 3-in-1 sets, where if you look on like the reverse of the boxes, it gives you ideas for sort of like 3 different designs you could make with the pieces that are included in the set. Whereas I think obviously like Lego City, that's not the case. Their sets, you know, it's just one thing that you build with it, unless you are the sort of person who doesn't really buy to actually build the set laid out in the instructions. Instead, you just buy it for the pieces, and you just mix them all up with loads of other pieces and just build whatever the hell you want. Which, sure, some people probably do that, but I prefer to actually make the set that's actually outlined in the set instructions and whatever else have you. That's a question for you guys out there. You know, when you buy sets from Lego, if you do you just stick to the instructions and build what it actually sets out for you? Or do you just take those pieces and do you just build something of your own out of it? Do you mix it with other pieces from other sets? Things like that. And just see, you know, see where that takes you and all. What's your approach to building Lego, folks? I suppose that's the question I want to ask. Here we are, yeah. But sometimes I think maybe I should get onto these sort of sites that you can get, that you find online for like second-hand Lego sets, and maybe I don't know, see if I can get my hands on some like old 90s Lego sets, because like there are some Lego sets from the 90s from like the Pirates theme, the Aquazone theme, some of like the space themes like UFO and Insectoids and stuff like that. There's some sets from those that I would freaking love to get my hands on because of how crazy they are. Crazy awesome, that is. And I would love to build them. You know, actually, speaking of 1990s Lego, I know I'm sort of jumping about from topic to topic here in this conversation, but do you remember, does anyone remember from the 1990s there was like a Lego theme called Time Cruisers, which was all basically about time travel, stuff like that? Does anyone remember that one? That was only a small theme. I don't think it had many sets to it. But it was a real weird one. Because I was actually looking on a website today which has like a whole database of Lego sets from throughout the years, and obviously it has all the like Time Cruiser sets listed on it. It's funny because like a lot of the comments and reviews people left of them were basically saying things like, these sets had no sort of like unique pieces in them, because that was the thing about a lot of Lego themes back in the day. The different sort of, you know, themes, they would have like unique pieces. So like the Rock Raiders theme, for example, often had like vehicles with big drill pieces on them and stuff like this. And then like the space theme sets usually had all kinds of like neon coloured like canopies and bricks and pieces and all sorts of stuff. And like the UFO theme, going back to that one that I mentioned a moment ago, you know, that had, for example, like magnetic pieces in it, and then like Insectoids, of course, had lots of pieces which was specifically designed for it to be evocative of things like arthropods in the design of their like spaceships and things like that. And obviously like the pirate theme sets, you know, like the ships with their sails, they had actual like, you know, fabric sails and things like that. But Time Cruisers, I don't think that actually had any like unique pieces to it. It was basically just an amalgamation of stuff from all kinds of themes. It was a weird one. Imaginative, but a bit weird. And I think a lot of people in the reviews and comments for it at the time were always saying, well, not just at the time, but also today, often say things like, it was a bit of a weird theme, which probably needed something unique to itself to really kind of just give it a bit more oomph, to put it that way. But yeah, I wonder if there's anyone in the comments, or anyone watching this video, did any of you, back in the day, did anyone own the Time Cruisers sets? Time Cruisers or Time Twisters, because apparently I think, like a lot of themes, Lego sort of made, like the Time Cruisers who were the good guys, and then they also had some sets for like the sub-theme called Time Twisters who were like the bad guys, sort of. I need to stop saying like, what am I doing? But yeah, does anyone remember that? Did anyone have any sets from those themes back in the day? And what did you think of them? Were they fun? Did you like them? Let me know in the comments if, you know, you happen to have any of those sets and all that. Okay, right, I'm probably thinking I might wrap this episode up here, because truth be told, I basically just wanted to do a quick podcast style episode where I rambled about Lego for a bit, because I've really got it on the brain and all that. So yeah, like I say, I'll see if I can edit some images in for the sets that I bought from Smith's Toy Superstore, so you can actually see what sets I've actually got and which I'm going to be making, if I haven't done so already, over the coming days. And yeah, I'll probably be aiming to get myself some more, but the problem is living in an apartment like this, I've got to remember I've only got limited space. Otherwise I'm going to be filling up my entire apartment with Lego sets if I'm not careful. But hey, it's my money, I'll do what I want with it and all that, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, Facebook, Twitter links down below, along with the links to my propagandist channel for anyone interested, and if you enjoyed, a like is of course always appreciated. But other than that, I'm signing off now. Goodbye everybody. Okay. Still around, whatever it is. It's got to be T-Rex, isn't it, right? Now go to the bed. Oh boy. Right. Oh, oh, you beauty! Okay, don't turn the flashlight on. It's like that scene in the original Jurassic Park. Oh god! No, you don't. Can I hide under the table? Oh, he big. He's a big boy. He's a massive big boy. I know I've said before that I've never actually watched any of the Jurassic Park movies. What I mean is I've never actually watched any of them through before. Is he going around that side? Oh god.